Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of the Called Women Show. I'm your host, Natasha Miller, and I'm so excited to be here with you guys again today as we talk about a new topic. And this is a topic that I absolutely adore being able to discuss and break down because it's very near and dear to my heart. Even as a life coach, I love to be able to sit with clients and really help them to unlock and even just rediscover the beauty of blooming in your own time. So, today, we're going to talk about the power that comes with being a late bloomer. If you have followed my journey or if you've been a part of any of the Call to Women masterclasses, you may have heard my personal journey and story of truly embracing God's timing in my life. And I believe that a lot of women who are a part of the Called Women community can absolutely relate to the beauty, even to the pains, right, of being a late bloomer. So many of you may be thinking, Natasha, what does it mean to be a late bloomer? I know that in our society today, when we think of those words, late bloomer, it comes with a negative connotation to where some of us, we kind of feel ashamed or embarrassed that we are not blooming in the same time frame as our peers or those around us. But in today's episode, I want to help remove that shame and I want to kind of reframe your thinking around being a woman that experiences a certain level of success later in age or later in time. So, the definition of being a late bloomer, it actually refers to individuals who achieve success or reach significant milestones later in life compared to the typical or expected timeline. Okay? With that definition there, can any of you guys relate? Have you achieved success or reached a significant milestone in your life that was higher in age? Maybe you experienced success after you got married. Maybe you experienced success after you crossed over the threshold age of 45. And you're just now really living in the purpose and the calling of God on your life. So, what I have found personally in my journey is that I grew up kind of under this mindset that I had to be married at a certain age, that I had to have my education all ironed out at a certain age, or I needed to have X, Y, and Z in my bank account in order to be considered a mature woman or a successful woman. And I have found just personally that a lot of my success has been achieved after I reached the age of 30, after I entered into even the season and covenant of marriage. And y'all, I wasn't expecting for my life to change or for me to mature in more ways than one, once I said I do, right? Because I thought, okay, I'm a single woman. I'm going after life. I'm pursuing purpose. When I get married, this person's going to be an addition to my life. And we're just going to pursue purpose together. And I'm just going to continue to achieve success. But I realized quickly after saying I do that God really had me go and undergo a process of refining. I had to undergo a process of even just maturity and understanding who I was. I felt that I was able to truly get a greater, even revelation of what God had called me to once I said I do. I'm not saying this happens for everybody. There may be a certain milestone in your life to where possibly it was when you went off away to college and you were out of your parents' home and you were able to experience your own mistakes and having to work through your own conflicts and pay your own way for things. And, during that season, you realized, wow, okay, like I am capable. I am independent. I am able to make my own decisions. So whatever that milestone in your life that helped to transition you into the place of even just maturity, even to a place of just self-satisfaction and confidence in knowing that, hey, this is what, success looks like in my life, that can be the basis in which you're able to base your a success and even just the season of blooming that God has you in. So for me, even now, I'm 38 years old. I have 3 children. I'm expecting my fourth. You guys, being 38 and pregnant is different than being like 25 and pregnant, 27 and pregnant. Even in our medical world today, I'm considered a geriatric pregnancy, y'all. It's on my paperwork, right? But I've realized that with age, it comes maturity. With age, it comes a different mindset. It comes even a healthier perspective. It comes even just a deeper resiliency in yourself, in your capabilities, and also what is possible even to you. So I just want to kind of to share with you and even just affirm you if you find yourself in the space of being a late bloomer, that there isn't a cloak of shame that you need to wear, that there really is a power and an anointing that's on your life to be able to speak to different spheres of women, different rooms of women, different communities of women, because you're able to kind of have the story of possibly lacking and not knowing what God had called you to, and then now entering into a season of clarity and understanding and being able to really put into words and verbalize all that God has done in your life up to that point. So the benefit of blooming in your own time, I'm going to share with you 3 benefits. The first benefit of blooming in your own time is that you're able to redefine success. Blooming in your own time, not blooming in the world's time, blooming in society's timeline, but blooming in your God-ordained time allows you to redefine success. You get to define success on your own terms, based on personal fulfillment and authenticity rather than societal expectations. I am an advocate for authenticity. I love being able to be around women who are able to embrace every part of their story. They're not ashamed of who they are. They're not ashamed of their quirkiness. They're not ashamed of their silliness, their creativity. I love being able to be in rooms with women who truly have embraced all that God has made them to be, the good, bad, and the ugly. And when you embrace that moment or that season or even a part of that identity of understanding that, hey, I am a late bloomer, I don't have to walk in shame, you're able to really step out and be an example of what success looks like in a different way. You're redefining it for not just you, but for women who are coming after you, for women who are watching you. I think that yes, everybody has a different story. There are some women who will follow a path and they will reach a success quicker than others, and that's beautiful. But there are also women who will experience different peaks of success at different seasons of their life. I think that's the beauty of even just being a woman, being a human, living in this world, right? And even walking with God is knowing that there are seasons in which there's going to be more expected of me. There are seasons in which I can rest. There are seasons in which I can invest. There are seasons in when I can watch and be prayerful. Every season doesn't have to be a grinding season. Every season doesn't have to be a season to where you are feeling burnt out. So I think really being able to know that blooming in your own time gives you the permission to redefine success and what it looks like to you. Success to me may not be success, for you. Success for me is truly being able to be a good wife, to be a good mother, to really raise my children in the fear of God and the admonishment of the Lord. Like, I want to be able to mentor and coach like just thousands of women in them truly understanding their God-given identity and really being able to pour back into the next generation. That is success to me, being able to leave this earth and for people to not just talk about what I did or what I accomplished, but also what I imparted and what they felt when they were in rooms with me. That's success to me. Okay. So really sit down and ask yourself, what does success look like to me as a late bloomer? Because when you have that answer, you're truly able to redefine that also for others. The second benefit of blooming in your own time is that you're able to cultivate the ability to be resilient and even be more adaptable than others. When you have weathered through different seasons and you've learned to wait, you've learned to be consistent, you've learned to be patient on the timing of the Lord, there is a resilience that grows deep inside of you. And there's an adaptability that you have that others may not have. I found with me, because of all the different seasons of life that I've been in, and even just the transitions that I've gone through, that I really have a greater understanding of the timing of God, of knowing that the enemy wants you to feel like God's forgotten about you because of a season that you're in prior to the season of fulfillment. He wants you to die in that season of waiting. He wants you to feel distressed and forgotten in that season of waiting before the promise is fulfilled in your life. And it's so important that as called women, that we don't give up in the middle of the process. There's a resilience and a maturity and an adaptability that God is wanting to form in you so that you're able to impart that into others. Hi, friends. Okay, I know right now you are tuning into today's episode and it's so good, but I wanted to pop in here to let you know that there is a free coaching DNA quiz that is made available to you. Have you ever thought about going into life coaching and you don't really know what type of coach you would actually be? Well, the Called Women team has created a DNA quiz to help you discover your coaching DNA style. You can simply go to www.calledwomen.com/DNA quiz, put in your information, answer a few questions, and your results are going to be sent into your inbox. You guys, check it out. So, being able to navigate through various life challenges, you as a late bloomer tend to be able to be resilient and adaptable, skills that are actually valuable in achieving success. Success, again, can form, it can mature, it can evolve. And when you're able to be resilient in knowing that, hey, I thought this is what God had for me, but this is the story that God has for me. That's resilience, instead of running away from the perfect plan that God has for you, right? Or anything like that. You're saying, okay, God, I'm going to adapt. And that's been something that the Lord has even been speaking to me personally as I get closer to 40 and just like in my late 30s, like I'm realizing that, God, I want to accomplish the dream that you have for me. I want the better dream. I want the dream that makes you happy, the dream that I couldn't have even thought up by myself, because I realized that, when you're young, it's just like, oh my gosh, I want to do X, Y, and Z. And you have a perfected plan of how you're going to achieve that personally. But when you go through life, where things happen unplanned and you go through loss, you go through mountaintops, you go through seasons of wilderness, you realize that your plan really isn't the perfect plan. Your plan is a plan that a God actually takes and he expands it, he rewrites it, and he removes what doesn't belong there. So my prayer for you is that you would embrace and just seek God out and asking God, what is the better dream that you have for my life? God, I don't want to fight against your perfect plan for my life. God, help me to mourn what I need to mourn and let go of what I need to let go of when it comes to dreams or certain desires. Help me to discern what is I'm idolizing in my life that's causing me to not see the better dream that you have for me. And I believe that as a late bloomer, having that resilience and adaptability will give you the opportunity, and it'll be a lot more easier for you to transition into asking God, what is the better dream that you have for me? The last benefit of blooming in your own time is you have a greater appreciation of success. You have a greater appreciation of success because possibly you've been waiting for so long to experience that feeling of success, that feeling of, oh God, everything that I've gone through, it's making sense. It was to help me become this. It was to help me to help this person. Like there is nothing like living in the will of God. And in the last year, I've been able to experience the sovereignty of God in my life, because the dream that I'm living out now is a part of the dream that I had when I was a young girl, but it's better than what I imagined when I was a young girl. I now am able to see a lot clearer and also appreciate the journey and the process that I'm going through, because I realize that this process that I'm going through is actually attached to a greater picture. Going through harder seasons, even in just learning how to be a better leader, learning how to be a better manager of my home and in relationships and friendships. The history that I have of losses and wins are playing a part of the success that I'm walking in today. Late bloomers, we have a heightened appreciation of our achievements when we actually accomplish them, because we have worked through obstacles and delays that could have knocked us off path and caused us to turn our face or our back towards God. Being a late bloomer, weathering through different seasons, blooming in your own time is a badge of honor that you should wear proudly, and knowing that, hey, through the peaks and through the valleys, God has remained faithful. And the success that I'm experiencing now did not just happen overnight. There was a process, okay? There's a testimony attached to this. So I just hope and pray that in today's conversation that you were able to find hope and understanding in a greater level of totality of the beauty of your process. You are not behind, you are on time. We got to get out of that mindset that you are behind, that you've missed God, that you've missed the timing of God. God does not work like that, right? He's a redeemer. In his divine providence, you guys, he's able to work out things that are happening behind the scenes that we felt like we've destroyed. You cannot destroy the plan of God over your life. You can reject it, you can ignore it, you can misuse it, you can abuse it, but you cannot change God's mind about who you are and what he has created for you to do here in the earth. So again, really quickly, the three benefits of blooming in your own time is you get to redefine success. Second, you are able to cultivate a greater level of resilience and adaptability in your life. And then lastly, you have a greater level of appreciation of success when it actually happens in your life. You guys, I love talking about this subject because I believe that more than ever, women need to hear this message that you are right on time and that blooming is not a race. It's not something that you need to compare to other people's journeys. Be still and allow God to bloom you in your life and in your call in his perfect timing. Thank you guys so much for tuning into today's episode. I would love to know your thoughts around this concept, around this teaching. If you have any questions about the late blooming process and how to embrace it even the more, please share them down below. I'd love to be able to answer them for you. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You guys, we have some amazing more content that we're going to be creating for you. And again, thank you so much for being on this journey with me. I appreciate you guys so very much. I'll see you in the next episode.